Never answer this question from a woman. Not once. You know the moment. Things are going fine, then she drops a simple line that feels harmless, but suddenly you are explaining yourself. What are we? Why are you with me? Would you change for me? How much do you make? Do you love me more than? Most men take the bait. They talk, justify, promise, and in doing so they quietly give away the frame. Respect slips, attraction cools, and they have no idea why. Here is the truth. Those questions are not requests for information. They are checks on your center. If you answer to be liked, you fail the test. If you hold your frame, stay calm and respond, like a man who chooses rather than chases her respect grows. In this video, I will show you how to handle 7 frame tests without arguing or acting cold. You will get simple scripts that redirect the conversation, Stoic principles that keep you composed, and the exact mistakes that kill your presence. You will learn when to speak, when to pause, and when silence is the strongest answer. One of these 7 is the most dangerous because it sounds romantic. When you see it, you will never surrender your power again. And yes, the last example is the real trap most men miss every time. Let's get into it. Number 1. The trap behind what are we? This is the question that makes most men lose their power without even realizing it. What are we sounds innocent, almost sweet. It comes up after a few weeks of dating when things feel comfortable and the chemistry is strong. But underneath that question is a test. She's not really asking for a label, she's checking your frame. She wants to know if you're grounded enough to lead or if you'll fold under pressure. Here's how it usually plays out. Mark, 56, has been seeing Dana, 53, for a few months. They get along well, dinners, laughter, late-night calls. Then one evening over wine, she leans in and asks, "So what are we?" Mark feels the pressure instantly. He doesn't want to lose her. He worries that if he doesn't say the right thing, she'll think he's not serious. So he starts explaining, talking about how much he likes her, how he's never met anyone like her, how maybe they should be exclusive. That's where he loses her. Not because he said the wrong thing, but because he started explaining himself. He turned her emotional question into a logical conversation. The moment he did that, the polarity shifted. She's no longer looking at a man she can respect. She's looking at a man who's trying to prove something. Now imagine the same moment, but a different response. This time, Mark pauses. He smiles slightly, looks her in the eyes and says, "We're enjoying what we have. Let's not rush to label it." Then he changes the subject. Calm, warm, in control. What happens next? She relaxes. The energy shifts from uncertainty to curiosity. Because deep down, she doesn't want you to explain. She wants to feel that you're sure of yourself. Women don't test you because they're manipulative. They test you because they're wired to seek security. When she asks, "What are we?" what she really means is, "Can I trust your direction?" The man who panics, who tries to make her feel safe by talking, ends up doing the opposite. The man who stays composed makes her feel it without words. Stoic philosophy explains this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." You don't define the connection, you embody it. You lead by example. When you know who you are, you don't need to clarify it to anyone. The what are we question isn't about titles, it's about tension. And tension is what creates attraction. If you remove all uncertainty, if you label everything too soon, you kill the mystery that keeps her drawn to you. The paradox is this: the woman who respects you will eventually want commitment, but she wants it to feel earned, not negotiated. Mark learned this the hard way. The next time a woman asked, "What are we?" he remembered that his answer wasn't about words, it was about energy. Confidence is quiet. When you stay calm, you hold the frame. When you rush to please, you lose it. So, if she asks you that question, don't overthink it. Smile. Stay grounded. Say something that keeps your authority and your peace. Because real men don't chase definitions, they define moments. Now, if you've ever faced this kind of question and felt that pressure, go to the comments and write, "I hold my frame." Because once you master that one skill, no question can pull you out of your power again. Number 2. Never justify why you're with her. This one sounds harmless at first. She looks at you with a smile and asks, "Why are you with me?" Maybe she's joking. Maybe she's fishing for reassurance. But no matter how soft it sounds, this is one of the most dangerous questions a man can answer. Because the moment you start explaining why you're with her, you shift the power. You go from being the chooser to being the one who needs to prove he deserves her. Most men don't see it happening. They think they're being romantic. They start listing reasons: her beauty, her personality, how she makes them feel alive. But the truth is, every reason you give becomes a condition she can use to test you later. If you say, "I'm with you because you make me happy," what happens when she's upset or distant? The foundation cracks. If you say, "You're not like other women now," she's holding you to a standard she might intentionally break just to see if you mean it. Here's the rule: you can express affection but never justify it. A man's attraction doesn't need a PowerPoint presentation, it needs presence. The less you explain, the more powerful your connection feels. When you answer that question with logic, you kill the mystery. When you answer it with confidence, you deepen the attraction. A Stoic man understands that love, like everything else, isn't about ownership or performance, it's about alignment. Seneca said, "He who seeks approval from others is a slave to everyone who gives or withholds it." The moment you justify why you're with her, you hand her emotional control. You say, "You define my worth by how you respond." But when you simply say, "Because I choose to be," you keep your frame. You're telling her, "I'm here out of choice, not need." Think about how different that feels. One version is validation seeking. The other is grounded certainty. Women don't want a man who needs permission to feel confident, they want a man who already is. And here's the paradox: when you stop giving her endless reasons, she starts feeling them. Your composure becomes the reason. Your calmness becomes the proof. Desire grows not through explanation but through experience. Stoic control is what keeps your emotions from spilling into performance. You're not cold, you're centered. You're not distant, you're deliberate. That's what women crave. It's not about how much you can say, it's about how much you can hold back. If she asks, "Why are you with me?" smile slightly. Take your time, then answer, "Because I choose to be." That's it. No details, no defense, no backstory. It's clean, it's masculine, it keeps the polarity alive. Because mystery isn't built through silence alone, it's built through emotional control. A man who explains himself too much becomes predictable. A man who stands firm in quiet confidence becomes unforgettable. So next time she asks that question, remember, it's not a conversation. It's a test of your self-worth. And your job isn't to pass it by pleasing her. It's to pass it by staying centered. She doesn't want an explanation. She wants to feel that you're not shaken by her curiosity. That's what turns respect into attraction. Now make this real. Go to the comments and write, "I choose, I don't chase." Because the moment you stop justifying yourself, you start leading with strength. Number 3. Don't change to please her. There's a moment in almost every relationship when she looks at you and says, "Would you change for me?" Maybe it's small: how you dress, how often you text, how much time you spend on your work. Or maybe it's bigger: your attitude, your habits, even your direction in life. And here's the trap most men fall into. They hear that question and think saying, "Yes" will prove their love. But the truth is that answer does the opposite. Let's make it real. David, 58, owns a small construction company in Ohio. After his divorce, he started dating a woman named Lauren, 54. At first, things were effortless. She loved his discipline, his independence, and the way he didn't need to be the center of attention. But a few months in, the tone shifted. She began saying things like, "You're so serious all the time," or "You could try being a little more fun." David wanted to keep the peace. So he adjusted. He stopped going to the gym every morning to spend more time with her, changed his weekend schedule, and began agreeing with her even when he didn't mean it. For a while she seemed happier. But slowly something else happened. She lost respect for him. The very traits that attracted her, his discipline, his purpose, his certainty, were gone. And when they disappeared, so did her desire. That's what happens when a man changes who he is to please a woman. He doesn't become more lovable. He becomes less trustworthy. Because deep down she knows that if you can't stand firm in your own principles, you can't lead her through anything real. The Stoics warned about this exact weakness. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish or stupid." Meaning, stand firm even when people, especially women, don't immediately understand you. Your values aren't up for negotiation. They define your frame, your gravity, your masculine presence. When you stay consistent, you create polarity. She might challenge your ways, but deep down she feels secure knowing you don't bend with every breeze. When you start reshaping yourself for her comfort, you destroy that tension. You become predictable, and predictable men never hold attraction for long. Here's the paradox. Women often test your boundaries by asking you to change, but they don't actually want you to give in. They want to feel that you're strong enough to hold your ground. When she pushes, she's not saying, "Be different." She's really saying, "Show me you're still the same man I admired at the start." David learned this the hard way. After his breakup, he realized that the more he abandoned his habits, the weaker he felt, not just in her eyes but in his own. When he returned to his morning routine, to his discipline, to living by his own code, something shifted again. His confidence came back, and women noticed. So when a woman asks, "Would you change for me?" understand what she's really testing. She doesn't want compliance. She wants consistency. She wants to know that your world doesn't spin around her emotions. A man who keeps his standards high doesn't lose women, he attracts the right ones. And when you stand firm, you send a silent message that's far more powerful than any promise, "I am who I am, because I built myself this way." Now, if you've ever changed just to keep someone happy and you're done doing that, type in the comments, "I stand firm." Because when you stop changing to please her, you start leading with strength, and that's what she respects most. Number 4. When she asks, "How much do you make?" Let's be honest, this one always hits deep. You're sitting across from her, conversations flowing, and then she tilts her head and drops the question, "So, how much do you make?" Some men laugh it off. Some panic and start explaining every source of income, every investment, every plan for the future. Others get defensive. "Why do you care?" But here's the truth. None of those reactions work. Because this question isn't really about money. It's about value, security, and control. When she asks, "How much do you make?" she's not just being nosy. She's subconsciously trying to understand if your sense of worth depends on numbers. She's testing whether your confidence can stand on its own. The moment you start proving, you lose. Stoicism gives us the clearest insight here. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." A Stoic man knows that true wealth is freedom. Freedom from needing approval. Freedom from needing to explain. Freedom from being defined by what's outside his control. The problem with answering this question directly is that it drags you into her frame. You start playing on her field, comparing, explaining, measuring. But when you stay calm and reframe, you pull her into yours. You make her feel something stronger than curiosity. You make her feel your certainty. So instead of giving numbers or justifications, respond with something grounded, something that reflects your self-mastery. Say, "Enough to live life on my terms," or "More than I need, less than I want, that keeps me hungry." delivered calmly, that answer isn't arrogance, it's control. It shows her that your focus isn't on impressing but on leading your own life with direction. A man who knows his worth doesn't measure it in dollars, he measures it in discipline. You can have millions and still act broke inside if your validation depends on her reaction. You can have modest means and still radiate wealth when your energy says, I'm content, I'm in control, and I'm not explaining myself to anyone. Understand this, women aren't attracted to money, they're attracted to what money represents. The power, the direction, the independence. When you embody those traits without flaunting them, you create the same attraction without ever saying a number. And here's the paradox. The less you talk about your money, the more she assumes you're doing just fine. Silence backed by confidence always speaks louder than self-promotion. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." So when she asks that question, she's not testing your wallet, she's testing your peace. If you can stay calm, smile, and answer without a trace of insecurity, you pass with flying colors. Money can buy attention, but only presence earns respect. And if you want to master that kind of presence, the quiet authority that makes people feel your power before you say a word, join the membership community. Inside, you'll learn how to build unshakable Stoic confidence, emotional control, and masculine discipline that naturally command respect. Remember, you don't need to prove your worth, you live it. Number 5. The dangerous game of do you love me more? This question might sound romantic on the surface, but it's one of the most emotional traps a man can fall into. When a woman asks, do you love me more, she's not looking for math, and she's not really asking about love. She's testing your emotional balance. She wants to see if you'll lose your center to prove something you can't actually measure. And if you take the bait, you lose far more than the argument, you lose your polarity. Let's make it real. Brian, 57, a financial advisor from California, had been dating Michelle, 55, for over a year. Things were stable, mature, even peaceful. One night during a quiet dinner at home, she asked, "Do you love me more than I love you?" It came out playfully, but there was weight behind it. Brian smiled and said, "Of course I do. You know I love you so much." She smiled back, but something changed. From that night on, he noticed she challenged him more. She questioned little things, became less affectionate. Why? Because he gave her exactly what she didn't consciously want, proof that she had emotional power over him. His response shifted the dynamic from polarity to imbalance. He became the one chasing reassurance, while she became the one testing his strength. You see, love loses its power when it becomes a competition. The moment you try to measure it, you turn something natural into something transactional. What she's really asking is, are you still grounded in your purpose, or have I become your purpose? And if your answer suggests she's your entire world, she loses the sense of mystery, challenge, and respect that first drew her in. The Stoics would call this the danger of attachment. Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." When your love spreads beyond your purpose, when it consumes your sense of self, you lose the very center that makes your love valuable in the first place. A Stoic man loves deeply, but never desperately. His love is a choice, not a surrender. Brian learned this later. When another woman, Laura, asked him the same question months later, he handled it differently. He smiled, held her gaze, and said, "Love isn't a scoreboard, Laura. I love you the way a man should, without keeping score." Then he changed the subject. That answer wasn't cold. It was calm, centered, and sure. And Laura's response was instant. She softened, laughed, and leaned closer. Because she didn't need to win love. She needed to feel strength. The irony is, women don't want to outlove you. They want to trust you. They want to feel that you care deeply but still stand on your own foundation. When you show that balance, when your love flows from choice and not dependence, it becomes irresistible. So next time you hear that question, pause. Don't try to compete, convince, or calculate. Love isn't measured in words, it's felt through consistency. And if you ever catch yourself trying to prove your love, stop and remember this: the moment you explain it, you weaken it. Smile, stay grounded, and let your presence be the answer. Now, make this real. Go to the comments and write, "I love with strength." Because real love doesn't need reassurance, it needs balance, confidence, and calm. And that's exactly what she's looking for. Number 6. The hidden test in Would You Still Want Me If? This is one of the trickiest questions you'll ever hear from a woman. Would you still want me if I gained weight? Would you still want me if I couldn't work? Would you still want me if I lost everything? It sounds emotional, vulnerable, maybe even sweet. But underneath, it's not really about the scenario. It's about your reaction. She's testing whether your love comes from strength or from fear. When she asks, "Would you still want me if," she's not predicting the future. She's searching for security. She wants to know whether your desire for her is rooted in who she is or in what she does for you. And the way you answer determines whether she respects you or starts to question your strength. Most men fail this test because they rush to reassure. They say things like, "Of course I would," or "I'd love you, no matter what." It sounds romantic, but it's not. It's reactive. It tells her your emotions control you more than your principles do. And when that happens, attraction fades. A Stoic man knows better. He doesn't answer from emotion, he answers from truth. Stoicism teaches that everything external, looks, status, circumstances, can change in an instant. What remains constant is character. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's the essence of this moment. Your answer should reflect steadiness, not sentimentality. When a woman tests you with, "Would you still want me if?" the right move isn't to deny change, it's to stay grounded in who you are. You don't promise unconditional approval. You promise consistent presence. You might say calmly, "If life changes, we'll handle it when it does. What matters to me is how we live now." That answer shows two things: self-control and realism. It tells her you live in the present, not in hypothetical emotions. You're not saying you'd stop wanting her, you're saying you won't entertain imagined chaos. That composure reassures her more deeply than any dramatic declaration ever could. Here's what women actually want to feel in that moment. They want to feel you're calm. They want to feel that even if the world shifts, you won't panic. They're not looking for fantasy, they're looking for leadership. The Stoics called this the art of equanimity, the ability to remain balanced no matter the external storm. When you master that, your relationships become stronger because you no longer play emotional ping-pong. You lead from reason, not reaction. And that leadership is what women crave more than endless reassurance. Remember this: your value as a man isn't proven by how much you comfort her. It's proven by how steady you remain when she seeks comfort. The man who stays grounded gives her something priceless: peace. So when she asks, "Would you still want me if?" pause. Don't rush to fix it. Don't overpromise. Just breathe and stay still. Your calm silence will do more for her heart than your words ever could. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." When you understand that, you stop playing into every emotional scenario. You stop reacting and start leading. Because a woman doesn't truly want a man who says, "I'll want you no matter what." She wants a man whose presence makes her say, "I don't have to fear the what-ifs." Now take a moment and ground yourself in that truth. Then go to the comments and write, "I stay calm under tests." Because calm isn't weakness, it's the highest form of masculine power. Number 7. The ultimate power in "Are you afraid to lose me?" Every man has heard it, or will. That quiet, loaded question that drops in the middle of a calm night. Are you afraid to lose me? Maybe she says it playfully, maybe she's testing the waters, or maybe she's serious. But make no mistake, this isn't about curiosity. It's about leverage. She's not asking for reassurance. She's measuring your strength. Let's make it real. Paul, 55, a business consultant from Seattle, had been dating Erica, 52, for nearly a year. Their relationship was steady, passionate, but sometimes intense. One evening, after a small disagreement, she looked at him and asked softly, "Are you afraid to lose me?" Paul froze for a second, unsure how to answer. His instinct said yes, of course he didn't want to lose her. But something deeper told him to hold his ground. So instead of reacting emotionally, he smiled slightly and said, "If you want to leave, you're free to go. I don't hold what isn't meant to stay." He didn't say it coldly. His voice was calm, his body relaxed, his eyes steady. And in that moment, something changed. Erica's expression softened. She leaned closer, not further away. Because deep down, that's what she was looking for, not fear, but freedom. That's the paradox most men never understand. When you show fear of losing her, she loses attraction. When you show peace with the possibility, she feels desire. Why? Because it proves you're not dependent on her emotions for your own stability. It shows her that your center is internal, not external. Women test men with this question to see if you'll cling, to see if you'll beg, panic, or negotiate. But a Stoic man doesn't operate from fear. He understands, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. The moment you try to control someone else's choice, you lose control over yourself. When you can look at her calmly and say, "I don't want to lose you, but I'll never fear it," you embody freedom. And freedom is magnetic. It tells her that you love from choice, not from need. It tells her that your affection is a gift, not a plea. The truth is, fear of loss destroys attraction faster than anything else. Because fear leads to control, and control leads to suffocation. When you let go of fear, you create space for respect, and respect is the root of desire. Paul told me later that after that night, their relationship changed. She stopped testing him as often. She opened up more, trusted him more, respected his boundaries. Because when he showed her he wasn't afraid to lose her, she realized she didn't want to lose him. This question, "Are you afraid to lose me?" isn't really about her. It's about you. It's a mirror showing how attached your self-worth is to her presence. If you answer with desperation, you fail the test. But if you answer with composure, you show mastery. So when it comes, and it will, don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Smile, breathe, and respond from stillness. She'll feel the difference instantly. A woman might admire your passion, but she falls in love with your peace. Now, make it real. Go to the comments and type, "I fear nothing I can't control." Because that's where your real power lives. Not in holding on tighter, but in knowing you can let go and still stand tall. Number 8. When silence wins every argument. There's a kind of strength that doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't need to. It's the calm in the middle of chaos, the quiet authority that doesn't fight for attention but commands it naturally. That's the power of silence, and when used correctly, it wins every argument. Most men don't realize this. They think winning means talking more, reasoning harder, proving their point. So when emotions rise, they follow her energy. She gets louder, and so do they. She gets upset, and they start explaining, defending, fixing. But every word you throw into emotional fire only makes it burn hotter. Here's the truth. You can't outtalk emotion with logic. You can only outlast it with stillness. A woman's emotions move like waves, fast, strong, unpredictable. Your role isn't to chase them, it's to remain the shore she crashes against. Stoic silence is not weakness, it's leadership. When she's upset, she's not just reacting to the situation. She's scanning your response to see if you'll lose your composure. She's looking for signs that you're still grounded. The more you stay calm, the faster she returns to balance. Stoic philosophy explains this perfectly. Epictetus said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Every time you react emotionally, you surrender control. But when you stay silent, you hold the frame. Your restraint tells her something words never can, that your peace is untouchable. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a truly confident man argue? He doesn't. He listens, he pauses, he observes. When he finally speaks, his words carry weight because they're not reaction, they're decision. Silence gives your words power. Silence is also your filter. It reveals the truth without effort. When you stop feeding energy into conflict, you force reality to speak for itself. She begins to notice her own tone, her own emotions, her own overreactions. Your silence becomes a mirror. And in that reflection, she finds clarity. The key is intent. Silence doesn't mean stonewalling or ignoring. It means controlled presence, being there listening, breathing, but refusing to engage in chaos. It's active stillness. A man who can remain composed while the storm rages around him isn't distant, he's disciplined. And that discipline is magnetic. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When emotions tempt you to lash out, do the opposite. Stay calm, stay rational, stay above it. That's not passive, it's power. The more grounded you are, the more everything around you aligns. Here's the paradox. When you stop fighting to win, you actually do. Because you're no longer arguing from ego, you're leading from presence. That's what women crave. Not a man who debates well, but a man who stays calm enough to make her feel safe, even when she's emotional. Silence is what separates the reactive from the resilient. It's what keeps respect alive long after attraction begins. When you can look at her, take a slow breath and simply not engage in drama, she feels something deeper than dominance. She feels peace. So next time tension rises, resist the urge to fill the air. Let the silence stretch. Let her feel your steadiness instead of your speech. Because in that stillness you're saying the one thing every woman secretly wants to hear. You can't shake me. Now make it real. Go to the comments and type, "My silence is power." Because the man who controls his words controls his world. Number 9. Control the frame, control her desire. Every interaction between a man and a woman happens inside a frame. The frame is the invisible boundary that determines who leads and who follows, who reacts and who decides. And here's the truth. Most men never learn whoever controls the frame controls the attraction. Let's make it real. Jason, 58, runs a real estate firm in Dallas. After his divorce, he began dating a woman named Clara, 53, an interior designer. At first, things were smooth. But over time, Clara started challenging him subtly, changing plans last minute, teasing his choices, even questioning small decisions just to see how he'd respond. Jason didn't notice it at first. He thought she was just being playful. But each time he bent a little, agreed too easily, or tried to keep the peace, something shifted. Clara grew distant. One evening when she canceled dinner last minute and said, "Maybe you should just plan something next week instead," Jason felt the sting. He wanted to confront her, to demand answers. But then he remembered something he'd learned through experience and through Stoic practice. Never react emotionally inside someone else's frame. The next day, instead of texting her first, he went about his business. He stayed calm, focused, centered. 3 days later, she reached out. Her tone was warm again, her energy different. Why? Because when he stopped playing her game, he reminded her who set the rules. Women test men's frames constantly, not to destroy them, but to feel them. They want to know whether your center is strong enough to lead, or if it crumbles when challenged. When she teases you, disagrees with you, or tries to throw you off, she's not being cruel. She's checking if you can hold the masculine polarity steady. The Stoics would call this mastery of the inner citadel, the ability to remain unmoved by outside forces. Marcus Aurelius wrote, You have power over your mind, not outside events. The frame is your mind made visible. It's how your inner calm shapes every interaction. When you control the frame, you don't dominate her. You direct the energy between you. You turn conflict into chemistry, tension into attraction. Jason's composure reminded Clara of something rare, a man who doesn't need validation to stay confident. That kind of self-control awakens desire because it's power without aggression. Here's the paradox. The moment you try to win the frame, you've already lost it. You can't fight for it, you have to embody it. Control isn't something you declare, it's something you express through presence. The more you chase control, the more reactive you become. The more you are controlled, the more she feels safe to surrender. Jason later said, "Once I stopped reacting, she followed my energy naturally." That's the key. You don't get her respect by explaining boundaries. You get it by living them. You don't keep her desire by proving your worth. You keep it by never stepping out of your frame. A man who leads his own reality becomes magnetic. Every word, every silence, every glance communicates calm direction. And when she feels that she doesn't challenge you to weaken you, she does it to connect with you more deeply. So remember, control isn't about holding her, it's about holding yourself. Now make this real. Go to the comments and type, "I control my frame." Because once you master that, you stop chasing attraction and start commanding it. Number 10. Freedom is the real attraction. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't need anyone to complete him. You can feel it when he walks into a room. His energy is calm, grounded, but alive. He's not chasing approval, not explaining himself, not performing. He's free. And that freedom is what women find irresistible, even if they can't fully explain why. See, most men think attraction comes from giving more effort, more attention, more reassurance. But real attraction doesn't come from what you give her. It comes from what you hold within yourself. Freedom is that quiet confidence that says, "I choose to be here, but I don't need to be." It's the difference between attachment and presence. When a man lives in freedom, every move he makes carries weight. He's not afraid to walk away, not because he's cold, but because his identity doesn't depend on who stays. He's emotionally independent, and that independence is power. Let's look at it through the lens of Stoicism. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about not being controlled by what you crave. Most men live as slaves to validation. They measure their worth by a woman's attention, her approval, her affection. But a Stoic man flips that script. He becomes the source, not the seeker. His peace isn't conditional. When a woman senses that kind of energy, she relaxes. She might test it, push against it, even try to pull him into dependency. But the moment she realizes he won't break, she feels both safe and drawn in. Why? Because freedom creates space, and space creates desire. When you stop clinging, she starts leaning. When you stop chasing, she starts wondering. Freedom doesn't mean indifference. It means clarity. It's knowing you can love deeply and still remain whole. It's walking beside someone, not behind them. Women crave that energy because it signals emotional maturity. They don't want a man who controls them, they want a man who controls himself. Picture it like this: a man who's free is like a mountain. Solid, unmoved, complete. The woman doesn't want to own the mountain. She wants to feel its stability. She wants to stand near it and breathe in its peace. That's what your freedom provides, not distance, but depth. In relationships, freedom also means knowing you can give love without losing self-respect. It means not negotiating your values just to keep her happy. It means being kind, but never compliant. When your happiness no longer depends on her reactions, she starts to respect you on a deeper level. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free. Courage and freedom are connected." It takes courage to walk away when something no longer aligns with your truth. It takes courage to sit in silence rather than argue. It takes courage to remain steady when others try to shake your peace. But that courage, that stillness, is exactly what separates the ordinary man from the grounded one. When you live free, you're no longer fighting for control or chasing validation. You become the center of gravity in your world. That's what draws people to you, especially women. Because freedom isn't just attractive, it's contagious. So don't let your worth be borrowed from anyone else's approval. You were born complete. Every moment you reclaim that truth, you step further into your strength. Remember this: the man who fears losing nothing ends up attracting everything. So here's what we've learned today. Most men lose their power, not because women take it, but because they give it away through fear, over-explaining, and emotional reaction. Every question, every test, every moment of tension you face with a woman is not an attack. It's an opportunity to show calm direction and leadership. When you hold your frame, stay silent when needed, and live with true freedom, you stop chasing attraction and start commanding it. That's the heart of Stoicism in relationships, self-control, emotional mastery, and presence. The man who leads himself doesn't need to prove anything, he is the proof. If you found value in this video, and you're ready to build unshakable Stoic confidence and emotional discipline, the kind that transforms how women see and respond to you, join our membership community. Inside, you'll get exclusive content, practical lessons, and a brotherhood of men who live by strength, calm, and purpose. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video like this. We post every week, helping you master the mindset that separates strong men from reactive ones. Thank you for watching. Stay grounded, stay free, and I'll see you tomorrow.
you